If someone had told Krista that the same friend who used to zip up her dresses, choose her matching earrings, and call her my twin, would one day push her into the ocean and leave her to die, she would have laughed and asked the person to quit watching Nollywood at night. Because in her mind, Tasha could never. She was her sister, her heartbeat, and her ride or die. But life has a painful way of proving that sometimes the person you trust with your whole heart is the same person holding the knife behind your back. Before jealousy quietly walked into their lives, Krista and Tasha were the kind of friends that made strangers smile. People would see them and say, these girls are goals, oh, because honestly, they were. Their friendship didn't start yesterday. They met in secondary school. Krista, the more soft-spoken one, had a calm spirit that drew people to her. Tasha, on the other hand, was loud, funny, and dramatic enough to turn an empty room into a comedy show. Somehow, their opposite personalities blended perfectly. Their classmates started calling them the inseparables because you simply couldn't find one without the other. If Krista was buying off, just look right. You will see Tasha squeezing her face because the seller added only 2 extra pieces instead of 3. That was who they were. 2 young women who genuinely loved each other. By the time they entered university, their friendship grew even stronger. They became known as the twins that their mothers didn't give birth to. They dressed alike, braided their hair the same week, and even bought the same slippers. A day could not pass without them being together. If Krista was cooking spaghetti, Tasha was slicing carrots and complaining. Market runs? They went together, gossiping about boys who asked them out. Their chemistry was so perfect that even podcasters invited them to talk about their friendship. One particular podcast went viral. The host asked them, "What's the secret of your friendship?" Krista held Tasha's hand and smiled. Tasha looked at her with warm eyes and said, "She's my sister, my heart, and my person." People in the comment section nearly cried. Some even said, "God, when will you give me a friend like this?" Krista said, "Tasha is my safe space," and she meant it. If she was having a bad day, one call from Tasha would make her laugh until her stomach hurts. The love between them was pure, real, and beautiful until life decided to bless Krista differently. A very calm rich man found that interesting. His name was Benson. They met in the skincare store. Krista had dragged Tasha along to help her choose a new face serum. While Krista was arguing with the sales girl about the price, Benson had walked in, spotted her, and paused like someone had pressed a remote control. Tasha elbowed Krista and whispered, "See fine man now. With the way he's looking at you, if you don't give him your number today if he asks, I will disown you." Krista only laughed and continued pricing her serum. But Benson was intentional. He waited, followed them quietly to the counter, and even paid for everything they bought without blinking. Krista nearly fainted. Tasha shouted, "God, when?" Benson only smiled, introduced himself, and asked Krista if he could get her number. Krista's shy smile answered the question. That was how everything started. Within months, Benson showed the whole world that he was not just rich, he was generous, thoughtful, and intentional. He spoiled Krista effortlessly. Luxury human hair that influencers could only dream about. Designer shoes that made her walk like the ground was soft. Perfumes that made people turn twice and ask for the name, only to back out when they find out the price online. And date nights at 5-star restaurants. Krista didn't know what she loved more, Bessie's heart or the peace he brought into her life. But while Krista's heart was blooming, another heart was quietly drying up. At first, Tasha was genuinely happy for her friend. She would scream whenever a gift arrived. "Oh, this man wants to finish you with love, oh." She even followed them for some dates. She took their pictures. She made TikTok videos for Krista, and she even bragged about Benson to strangers like she was the one dating him. But slowly, jealousy began to sit in her chest like a heavy stone. It all started when Krista's wardrobe changed. Not with the regular dresses, but pure Turkey designer dresses, while she kept on wearing her old cheap dresses. Even the birthday situation didn't help. Tasha's birthday was the previous month. There was no saxophonist, no planners, and no money bouquet. The only real gift she got was from Krista. But Krista's birthday? It came with a storm of love, lustry, and envy that changed everything. Krista didn't even know Bessie had been secretly planning for weeks. The morning of her birthday started like a dream. Exactly 6 a.m., she was still sleeping. Tasha had passed the night in her house and was lying beside her, scrolling aimlessly through her phone. Suddenly, a soft saxophone sound began drifting into the compound. Slow, sweet, and romantic. Still half asleep, she frowned and whispered, "Oh, who is playing jazz by this time now?" Before she could open her eyes properly, Tasha had opened the door. Event planners matched in with cakes, flowers, balloons, gift boxes, and a saxophonist blowing happy birthday like the world depended on it. Krista screamed. Tasha screamed louder. Balloons floated everywhere. Rose petals were scattered on the floor. Photographers clicked away and videographers recorded every expression. Krista covered her face, blushing. Tasha clapped excitedly, but her smile didn't fully reach her eyes because deep inside, she remembered her own birthday. The previous month, when the only person who surprised her was this same Krista. Still, she packaged her face well, such that nobody could suspect anything. The planners handed Krista a robe and crowned her with a tiara. They had already sprayed confetti on her. The saxophonist switched to a romantic jazz tune, and then they blindfolded her gently, held her by the arms, and guided her outside. A huge luxury van waited, decorated like something you only see in billionaire proposals. Inside the van, the interior sparkled. Everywhere you turned, boxes wrapped in gold paper, handwritten notes arranged beautifully, designer bags lined up, fragrance gift sets, cakes and money bouquets stacked to the top. It was overwhelming. Krista burst into tears. Tasha laughed and hugged her, but something sharp twisted inside her chest because standing amidst all the beauty, she suddenly felt very small, very alone, and very unchosen. She wiped her eyes quickly before anyone noticed. They quickly had their baths, and the van took them to a five-star restaurant beautifully decorated only for Krista. Benson was waiting there looking like a silent blessing from heaven. The moment he saw her, his eyes softened as if he was looking at his whole world. He walked to her slowly. Krista was shaking from happiness. Guests started clapping at this time, and Tasha forced a bright smile. Benson held Krista's hands, stared into her eyes and said, "Thank you for making my life beautiful. I want to spend every day loving you if you will allow me." Before Krista could blink, he went down on his knees. The restaurant erupted. Krista gasped. Benson opened a small velvet box, and there it was, the kind of ring that could blind someone in sunlight. Tasha's heart dropped to her stomach. Krista was already crying, shaking her head and saying yes, unable to breathe from joy. Benson slipped the ring onto her finger. People clapped. Some stood, while others screamed. Tasha stood up as well, but with shaking legs. Everyone hugged Krista, saying congratulations. Tasha hugged her the longest, whispering, "I am so happy for you." But her eyes were full of something dark, something bitter, and something dangerous. Because right there, watching Benson lift Krista into his arms, watching cameras capture her friend's joy, and watching the ring sparkle like a crown, she made a dangerous promise in her heart. If I cannot have him, then nobody should. 3 months after the proposal, when life had gone back to normal, at least on the surface, Tasha approached Krista one good day with her brightest and most innocent smile. "Bestie, let's do something fun," she said. "Just the two of us. No men and no stress. It's just a bestie bonding experience." Krista's face lit up. She had missed hanging out with her friend like before. Oh, Tasha, that's so nice. Thank you for thinking about this. So what do you have in mind? Tasha grinned and then she asked, how about ocean cruise? Krista screamed and jumped up. She hugged her friend so tight, happy that the friendship was still vibing, but unknown to her that Tasha had been planning this outing for 3 months, not for fun, but for death. That day was perfect, sunny, breezy, and calm. So Krista got dressed and they left. Her hair bounced freely, her engagement ring sparkled under the sun. As they boarded the private boat, Krista held Tasha's hand. Thank you, babe. I really needed this. Tasha forced a smile. Anything for you, my sister. The ocean stretched endlessly. Blue, quiet and peaceful. A gentle wind blew the hair backward. Krista breathed deeply. This is beautiful. Tasha nodded, her eyes scanning the distance and her mind counting seconds. The boat sailed further. The water deepened. Krista moved to the edge to admire the waves. She bent slightly, her dress fluttering. Tasha saw her chance, so she slowly, quietly and intentionally stepped behind Krista. For a split second, she hesitated, but envy whispered, do it. She checked around. Nobody was watching, and she did. With one sudden, powerful push, Krista screamed and plunged into the water. The splash echoed across the boat. Tasha stood frozen for a moment, watching the water swallow her friend. Krista kicked, struggled, and fought. Her hands slapped the surface, and her voice cracked. Tasha, Bestie, help me, I am dying. But Tasha didn't move. She watched. Her chest rose and fell heavily and her jaw clenched. She waited until Krista's struggle weakened. Then she turned away, calmly and quietly like nothing happened. On her way home, she rehearsed her story and how she would perfectly deliver it. A satisfied smile tugged at her lips. It is over, she whispered. Nobody will have him, but life has its own plans. As she left, two people who just began their own boat cruise without knowing what had happened spotted something floating, not quite lifeless and not quite alive. It was Krista. They dragged her out quickly and paddled her out of the ocean. They began CPR, pressing her chest, blowing air into her lungs and pumping until water gushed from her mouth. After minutes that felt like hours, they revived her enough to rush her to the nearest hospital. Krista slipped in and out of consciousness, her mind foggy, her body sore and her soul confused. She kept on whispering, Tasha pushed me. But why? 2 days passed before she finally opened her eyes properly. Her hands trembled, her throat felt dry and her heart raced at the moment of sinking into darkness. The first thing she asked for was a phone. The nurse gave her hers, and with shaking hands, she dialed Benson, the only person she trusted to save her. When he answered, his voice cracked from worry. When he heard Krista's voice, he screamed, Babe, where are you? I've been looking everywhere. Tasha said. Krista interrupted him immediately. Benson, she pushed me. Tasha tried to kill me. She broke into tears. Benson froze. Then rage filled his voice like thunder. Send me the address. I am coming right away. And in that moment, the story changed. This time, Krista was not the victim, she was the survivor, and a new plan was about to begin. A plan far more dangerous than Tasha expected. Bessie drove like a man running from death itself. He didn't stop for anyone. He didn't breathe normally, and his hands shook on the steering wheel, his heart beating faster than the engine. Krista, his own Krista, the woman he loved, the woman he wants to marry. Nah! He had to drive like an Anjegule brought up. When he reached the hospital, he stormed inside like a soldier in battle. When he saw Krista lying on the bed, pale, weak but alive, his breath caught. He rushed to her side and held her gently, afraid she would break. Krista burst into tears the moment she saw him. Everything she had kept inside, the fear, the betrayal and the pain came pouring out. Benson wiped his tears. His voice was low, controlled but burning. Tell me everything. I mean, every single thing. Krista nodded weakly and she told him from the moment Tasha told her about the adventure, the ocean, the push, the darkness swallowing her to waking up with good Samaritans pounding on her chest. Oh my God, Benson exclaimed. He hugged her gently. You are safe. I've got you now. Nobody will ever hurt you again. Krista cried into his chest. He lifted her head slightly. You need to leave here today. I am taking you home. Krista nodded. Her body was tired but her spirit was ready. Benson completed the paperwork immediately and carried her out like a bride. At his mansion, he settled her in a downstairs guest room. He hired 2 private nurses. He placed security cameras and he instructed his guards. No visitor enters this compound unless I approve it. Krista slept for hours and when she woke up, she found Benson sitting beside her bed, watching over her like a guardian angel. He held her hand. His voice was calm but filled with steel. Krista, we need to act wisely. Tasha believes you are dead because when I was bothered that I haven't heard from you for days, I asked her and she said she hadn't seen you as well. She even sworn that she thought you were with me. Krista swallowed hard. Benson leaned closer and then he continued. If we make noise now, she will deny everything and she might even try again. But if we stay quiet, she will expose herself. Krista looked confused. Expose herself? But how? A slow, dangerous smile touched Benson's lips. By giving her exactly what she wants. Krista's eyes widened. You mean? Benson nodded. Yes, I will pretend to chase her. I'll pretend to fall in love with her since in her head you no longer exist. She wants attention. She wants love. She wants the kind of life you have. Then, let her test it. Krista stared at him, shocked at how calm he sounded. Benson, are you sure? He cupped her face. Very sure, my love. You will stay here until you are fully strong. You will not go out. Right now, her focus is me. She wants my attention. She wants money. And she wants my affection. I will give her just enough to make her fall into her own trap. Krista looked at him with admiration and sadness. I trusted her with my life. Bessie held her tighter. Now, trust me with yours. The plan began the next day. Benson called Tasha and acted confused and angry. Has Krista not still returned? He asked. Tasha's acting was Oscar-worthy. Ah, Mr. Benson. No. In fact, I've been searching everywhere for her. I have even reported already in the police station since they said you haven't seen her as well and her phone is switched off. I hope my friend is safe. Please, what should we do now? She even cried fake tears. Benson sighed heavily. I don't know. I am worried. But can we see? The moment he asked that question, Tasha's heartbreak evaporated. Her fake tears dried instantly. Yes. I will come. I mean, I am coming right away. She hung up and ran to dress up, smiling so hard. Krista heard everything and tears rolled down her cheeks. This was her friend, her sister, her person. And now the same girl was excited to see her fiancé, not out of concern, but because she thought Krista was gone. Benson squeezed her hand. This will end soon, my love. I promise you. Tasha on her part took a cab to Benson's house, looking like a woman going on a honeymoon she didn't deserve. She wore a tight dress that hugged her body. She sprayed so much perfume that the driver almost sneezed to death, and she rehearsed her lines the whole ride. Benson, don't worry, I am here for you. God will bring Krista back. You are not alone. I am here to comfort you. But every line she practiced had only one intention behind it, which was to replace Krista. The moment she stepped through the gates, she smiled at the security guard like she had been coming there since day one. She walked into the house slowly, her hips swinging and her attitude so loud. Benson was sitting in the living room. He looked drained, stressed, and distracted, exactly how Tasha wanted him. She ran to him and hugged him tightly. Benson, you look weak. He sighed heavily, playing his role perfectly. It's been hard. I can't find my crystal. Tasha rubbed his back, pretending to be comforting. I am here for you. You are not alone now. Benson didn't hug her back. He didn't lean to her and he didn't even touch her, not by mistake. But Tasha didn't care. She was already imagining herself as the next Mrs. Benson. Over the next 2 weeks, Benson executed the plan with military precision. He called Tasha occasionally. He took her to lunch once or twice, but never romantic places. He sent her small gifts, nothing exciting. He avoided touching her hands. He also avoided hugging her and he avoided any sign of affection. But Tasha didn't care because her desperation covered it. She believed she was winning. She believed Benson was gradually healing from Krista, and she also believed that her plan had succeeded. She didn't know that Benson was playing her like a violin. She didn't know Krista was alive and watching everything through hidden cameras. And she did not also know that the trap was almost ready to snap. The final stage began when Benson invited her over for a special dinner. Tasha almost fainted from excitement. She wore her best dress. She even borrowed a wig and she spent 2 hours just for doing her makeup. As she sat in the car on the way to Benson's house, she pictured her future. She and Benson holding hands in public. Krista fading into silence like she never existed. Expensive gifts, lavish dates, and the pride of being Mrs. Benson in view. She smiled to herself. My time has come. If only she knew. When she entered the house, everywhere was beautifully arranged. Candles lit the hallway and soft music played in the background. Tasha smiled proudly. Finally, Benson called from the dining area. This way, please. I have a surprise for you. Her heart started beating so fast. She walked slowly, imagining a ring, a proposal, or at least a kiss. Few minutes later, she almost pulled on her body because standing there, perfectly alive and perfectly strong, was Krista, still wearing the engagement ring, wearing confidence like armor, standing tall and standing powerful. Tasha's mouth fell open. She tried to speak, but her voice disappeared. Her legs began to shake. Her brain refused to understand what her eyes were seeing. Krista took one step forward. Hello, Tasha? Tasha staggered and her voice finally broke out in a whisper. Krista, you are alive? Krista nodded slowly. Very alive, my darling. But that wasn't your plan, was it? Tasha's knees buckled. She fell to the floor. No. Let me explain. It wasn't. I didn't. It was. Krista raised one hand. Stop lying. At that same moment, police officers stepped into the house. Tasha screamed, but Bessie gave just an instruction and the officers handcuffed Tasha gently but firmly. You are under arrest for attempted murder. Tasha cried uncontrollably. Krista, please, I am sorry. Forgive me. I didn't mean to. I was only jealous. I was insecure and I didn't think. Krista, please, say something. Krista bowed her head and sobbed like a child. She couldn't stand watching her once upon a time bestie go through all that. And so she said to Benson after the police officers had left with Tasha, I don't want her to go to prison because that would destroy her destiny. But I will do this. Let her just sign an undertaking that if anything ever happens to me, any accident, any sickness or any harm at all, she will be held responsible. Benson nodded in agreement. They went to the station later that day and Krista told the police officers what she wanted. Tasha signed the documents, but their friendship died that very day. Benson held Krista's hand gently. You are safe now. You are finally free. But Krista's heart hurts. She has survived the ocean. She has survived betrayal. But losing the friend she once called a sister? Come on now. That wound would take a very long time. Indeed, her healing took time. There were days she woke up shaking, remembering the cold water swallowing her. There were nights she cried silently, wondering how her own friend could hate her so deeply. And there were afternoons she sat on the balcony, staring at the sky and asking God why betrayal always comes from people who once hurt your heart. But Benson was there. He paid for a therapy section for her. And slowly, Krista's smile, strength and joy returned. Their wedding date was fixed. Tasha wasn't even aware the wedding was happening because she had disappeared from the city after signing the undertaking, hiding from shame and the echo of her own choices. When the wedding dates came, the makeup artist worked on her face and even paused halfway to admire the masterpiece she was creating. This is not makeup. This is art, she said. The wedding venue was a garden decorated like paradise. They exchanged their vows and people cried because this wasn't just a wedding. It was about two souls who fought through betrayal, pain, fear and near-death experience finally saying I do. After they were pronounced husband and wife, the reception was like something pulled from Bella Niger's most expensive page. Cameras flashed, drones hovered, influencers posted, and the hashtag Krista and Benson 2025 began trending. But in the middle of all the dance, laughter and celebration, Tasha saw it online and was bruised because she was supposed to be the chief bridesmaid, a moment she had planned with Krista for years. But jealousy buried her place. The ceremony ended beautifully and their marriage began joyfully. Krista stepped into a new chapter, stronger, wiser and happier. Tasha tried to reach out, but she reminded her that their friendship was gone forever, buried in the same ocean she tried to bury her in. Hey, Africa Tales by Kama Tribe, how are you all doing? For me, I am doing just fine. I hope you learned one or two things from this story. Before I leave today, I would like to say this. Life has shown us again and again that not everyone is happy that you are happy, and that not every friend is truly a friend. Some people love you more when you are struggling, but the moment God lifts you, their heart turns dark. So be careful who you open your heart to. Some people want to be close to you not because they love you, but because they want to monitor how fast you are rising. Let me not even sugarcoat this. Jealousy, it does not start the day someone buys a car or gets engaged. It starts the day someone close to you begins comparing your life with theirs. Tasha didn't become wicked overnight. The seed was small. It was a silent envy, and instead of uprooting it, she watered with comparison, bitterness, and pride until it grew into a tempted mother. The lesson here is simple. Never allow your heart to become a dumping ground for comparison because you don't know how far jealousy can push a human being. If you ever feel small because your friend is rising, if you ever feel uncomfortable when someone close to you is succeeding or feel pain instead of joy over another person's blessing, then pause. Pray for yourself. You need deliverance. It is very urgent. Reset your heart because jealousy does not destroy the person you envy. It destroys you first. Your peace, your gratitude, your destiny, and your humanity. So monitor your heart, celebrate genuinely, and know your emotional temperature. I will leave you with this. A wise man once said, if your friend's success threatens your peace, then you are not ready for your own blessing. I take that again. If your friend's success threatens your peace, then you are not ready for your own blessing. Now tell me, dear Karma tribe, if you were in Krista's shoes, will you forgive Tasha the way she did? Or will you let the law finish her work? Kindly share your thoughts with me in the comment section. Give the story a thumbs up and please share out the story. I beg you in the name of God. And if you have not subscribed to this channel, what are you waiting for? Kindly punch on that subscribe button and get in as Karma Tribe free of charge. Until I bring the next interesting story your way, it is a goodbye from here and God bless you.